Welcome to Harvesting Clouds, where we take a practical approach to learning and leveraging clouds. In this video, we are going to see how to lock Azure resources to protect them against any unwanted actions. Before we begin, let's quickly talk about why we need these locks. Assume that you have a critical web application running inside Microsoft Azure. Now, system administrator goes into the portal and instead of deleting some other web application, they delete this particular critical web application. Or let's assume that you have a resource group that contains your virtual appliance, for example, Palo Alto Firewall or Checkpoint Firewall. Now, instead of deleting some other resource group, the system administrator, they go in and they delete the resource group containing your critical resources. To avoid any such unintended deletion or updates to the resources within Microsoft Azure, they came up with this concept of resource manager locks. Using these resource manager locks, you can restrict the resources so that not even the owner of the subscription will be able to delete or modify the resources. These locks apply to all users and all RBAC roles. Now here, I'm already logged into the Azure portal. Let's assume that this is the web app, Harvesting Clouds web app, for which I do not want this resource to be deleted, not even by an owner of the subscription. This is very critical to my business right now. So if I want to delete that right now, I will be able to delete this. All I need to do is provide the name of this web app, and I will be able to delete the web app along with the related app service plan. But if I want to restrict this, all I need to do is navigate to the settings, and near the end of the settings, you will have this option called locks. This option will be available for all type of resources within Microsoft Azure. Not just that, this option will also be available for resource groups containing multiple different types of resources. If you apply a lock at the resource group level, it will be applied to all the resources within that resource group. We'll see that in action in a short while. Let's come here and apply a lock. All you need to do is provide a name for the lock, select the type of the lock, and provide some descriptive notes for the lock. Let's say this is a critical web app. There are only two types of the lock. The delete lock restricts any deletion operation for this particular resource, or if you apply the delete lock at the resource group level, it will be applied to all the resources within the resource group. Whereas the read-only lock that makes the resource such that you cannot perform any modification on this particular resource. You will not be able to delete the resource. In addition, you will not be able to update the resource. If you have the read-only lock on a particular resource, it acts as if all the users, all the RBAC roles for this particular resource becomes a reader role. With the reader role, you cannot perform any updates on the resource. Similarly, if you have read-only lock, then you will not be able to perform any update operation on this particular resource. For now, I'll select a delete lock. I'll provide note, critical resource. It should be more descriptive. For the demo, I'm providing it as simple note. I'll hit OK to apply this lock. Now when I'll go and I'll try to delete this particular resource, I'll get the message that this resource has a delete lock that prevents us from deleting the resource. I'm an owner on this subscription. I'm an owner for this particular app service resource as well. But even I cannot delete this resource. To be able to delete this resource, I have to go in, delete the lock, and then I will be able to delete this particular resource. Thereby, it becomes that I have to take an extra step, and I will be more cautious this time because I have to go ahead and delete the lock. So the operation that I'm going to do, it will not be unintended. So for now, what I'll do is I'll delete the lock from this particular resource. Let's assume that the resource group to which this particular resource belongs, this web app demo RG, if I'll navigate to that particular resource group, it has multiple other resources, a related database server, a database on that server, and so on and so forth. I have an application insight as well configured on my web app. I want to protect all these resources, not just my web app. So to be able to do that, I'll simply apply the lock at the resource group level. Similarly, I'll give it a name. I'll select a lock type. I'll provide some nodes. This is optional, but it is highly recommended as a best practice that you provide some nodes. Now I have applied the lock at the resource group level, but if I'll navigate to any of the resource within this, for example, a web app, if I will try to delete this particular web app, I'll not be able to do that because a lock is always inherited from the parent scope to all the child resources. If I'll click on delete, I'll get the same message that this has a delete lock that prevents us from deleting the resource. Now, even if I have not given any delete lock on, let's say, this particular DB server, when I'll try to delete this DB server, even if I provide the name for this particular DB server and hit delete, it will say that failed to delete the server, and the error message will say something like that this particular scope, you cannot perform the delete operation because the following scopes are locked. Please remove the lock and try again. As you can see, the locks are very, very powerful. Even as an owner, I'm not able to perform the unintended operation. I'm not able to delete the server. To be able to do that, I have some extra step now. So even if I'm attempting the operation through a CLI or PowerShell or some API, I'll not be able to do that. Now, if you have multiple locks in your environment and you want to manage all the locks, you have multiple options to do that. The first option is you can go ahead and use CLI or PowerShell commandlets or some other API to manage all your locks. But there is another way in the portal. You can navigate to your subscriptions. You can navigate to the exact subscription where you want to manage all the locks within that subscription. Then scroll all the way down under settings. You will have this option called resource locks. It will show you all the locks in your environment on all the resources as well as resource groups at one place. You can then navigate to these resources directly. You can see what is the scope of that particular lock. You can even manipulate or modify these locks right here. For example, instead of delete lock, I want to change the type to read only. I can do that. Another point that I want to talk about is at the resource group level, we applied the delete lock. Now, if I'll navigate back to that particular web app, if I'll navigate under settings to the lock section, I'll see that particular delete lock and I'll see that the scope, it is coming from the resource group. That is, this lock is being inherited from the parent. Now, if I'll add another lock, let's say I name this lock as read only web app and provide the lock type as read only. We talked earlier that the read only is much more restrictive than delete lock. Delete lock does not let the deletion operation on this particular resource, but the delete lock lets you modify this resource as much as you want. Whereas the read only lock, it goes one step further. It does not let you delete this resource. In addition, it does not let you modify this resource. Now, if this resource has two locks, what will happen? Which lock will take precedence? The answer to that question is that the most restrictive lock, no matter where it is coming from, even if the most restrictive lock, that is the read-only lock, if that was applied at the parent level and you apply a delete lock at the child level or vice versa, as you can see on the screen, whichever way you apply these, the most restrictive lock that takes precedence. And that is the lock that is applied eventually on this particular resource. So no matter how you slice and dice this, if the read-only lock was applied at the parent level or at the child level, eventually the read-only lock is what will be applied to this particular resource. So far we have seen how the locks work and how they protect your resources against unwanted deletion or updation operations on any of your resources within Microsoft Azure. It feels like that you should be using the delete or read-only locks on each and every resources. But that is not the case. There are a couple of caveats that you should be aware about before you can start using the locks. The first one of which is that the read-only lock it can cause unexpected behavior. For example, if you have a storage account and you want to list its keys, but you have read-only lock on that particular storage account, then you will not be able to do that. The reason for that is the listing of the keys operation is handled via a POST request, and POST request is considered as an update operation under the CRUD operations. Therefore, that operation gets blocked. So you will think that you are only listing the keys, you are only reading the keys from your storage account. Whereas Microsoft Azure APIs, they will consider that as a modify operation and they will block that operation, which could look like as an unexpected behavior. Another thing that you should be aware about is that you cannot apply any lock, read only or delete on a resource group which contains Azure Backup Service. The reason for that is a backup service can only have 18 restore points. After 18th restore point, to create another backup at its scheduled time, it needs to delete the oldest backup point or the oldest restore point. And it cannot do that if there is a delete lock or read-only lock. Backup service will not be able to clean up and will not be able to create any new backup. These are the two main caveats that I want to call out. Other than that, for any critical resources in your environment, I honestly believe that as a best practice, you should have at bare minimum the delete lock on each of those resources, or at least at the resource group level. It's better to apply the locks at the resource group level because then you can apply the lock in a single go on all the resources within that resource group. If you have any doubts, let me know in the comments below and I'll try to answer as best as I can. If you like the content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe and the bell icon to get notified of the latest content as it is published on the channel. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.